Welcome. Today's topic of discussion is divergence theorem. Divergence theorem basically states that the electric flux leaving a small volume will be equal to the volume charge density of that small volume. In the sense, if I consider a small volume, let it be a small cuboid, then the electric flux leaving through these surfaces of this cuboid or rectangular box, whatever, okay, so the flux lines is going to leave from all the faces of the cuboid. So this flux lines, okay, the total flux lines which are diverging from this small volume. I have drawn it as a bigger volume so that you can visualize it in a better way, but actually this is a very small volume and there are flux lines converging from this. Okay, so flux lines converging from this small volume will be exactly equal to how much charge is enclosed by or how much charge is within this volume, which is nothing but represented by volume charge density. Now, since the idea is of divergence and this volume is infinitely small, for obtaining mathematical expression for the statement of the theorem, let us consider a point P. Okay, let us consider a point P where the charge resides, which is responsible for the flux lines coming out of this small volume. So, I will consider a point P at the center of this box, okay, almost at the center of this box, assuming that this is a cuboid. I will consider a point P at the center of this box. Please don't be very serious about the length and width of the box which I have shown on the board. Just assume that it's a cuboid where P is exactly at the center such that it is equal distance from front and back and equal distance from top bottom. That's the idea, and sideways also. So it's exactly at the center. So this is very important. So now let me consider this in an xy coordinate system, xyz coordinate system, 3-dimensional coordinate or Cartesian coordinate system. So this and right hand coordinate system is what I am choosing. So xy z. So I have kept this point P at the center of the box. Now, as I told you, the assumption is the flux lines diverging out of the different surfaces of this volume is supposed to be coming out or starting, or it has originated from this point P. So I can assume an initial value of flux density at point P. So there is nothing wrong in assuming an initial value of flux density at point P where it's just started originating. So at this particular point P, if I can zoom into it, I can have a small d vector there, okay, which just started diverging from this point P. So such a d vector can be assumed to have an initial value, okay, and that can be written as something like this. My d vector at point P, that is at the initial position, can be written as dx naught x cap plus dy naught ay cap plus dz naught az cap. Okay, so I'm just assuming that this is the d vector at point P which just started diverging from that particular point. Okay, now see here, this point P is where my charge resides, Okay, basically a point charge resides, and this is the closed surface, because this is the volume closing that point charge. So I can consider this as a closed surface enclosing the charges residing at small point P, so that I can easily apply Gauss's law to this surface. So if I apply Gauss's law, the total flux coming out will be equal to total charge residing. So using integral form of Gauss's law, I can write closed surface integral d dot ds is nothing but my psi, that is flux coming out, or that is equal to q. And from the definition of volume charge density, we also know that q is volume integral rho v dv, right? That means I can easily write Gauss's law in integral form as surface integral d dot ds is equal to volume integral rho v dv. So this tells you that the total flux, that is d vector, okay, the total flux coming out of this surface, that is nothing but the total flux density over this closed surface, is equal to volume integral rho v dv. This is nothing but total charge residing. So this is from Gauss's law. Now I need to evaluate this. How will I evaluate this? So what I know that this is q, this is q, but on the left hand side, what is this? This is the total flux coming out of it, or this is the total flux diverging through the surfaces of that closed cuboid. So my area of interest is in evaluating what is the total d vector. So I need to evaluate this LHS now. Okay, now how to evaluate this? So as I told initially, d vector is coming out from everywhere, top, bottom, side, front, back, right? So I have to evaluate this value, d dot ds value, throughout these surfaces. So my volume integral rho v dv is nothing but q will be equal to evaluation of d dot ds over front surface, evaluation of d dot ds over back surface, evaluation of d dot ds over left surface, right surface, top surface and bottom surface. I hope this is very clear. So if I want to mathematically find what is the total divergence, then I should be able to mathematically calculate what is d dot ds of front surface, back surface, okay, all other surfaces individually and add them together, so that I'll get total d dot ds over the total closed surface, entire surface of this cuboid. Now let us see how to calculate each integral, in the sense d dot ds over front surface, back surface, similarly other surfaces. So here we will be making one assumption, that is, since this cuboid is very small and this point P is where the charge started, in the sense the flux started diverging, I will assume that d is constant, that is my flux density is constant throughout the surface. Okay, I will not have varying flux, in the sense this area itself is very small. So if I consider a small portion of this area, another small portion which is infinitely small, then d vector over this portion, this small piece and this small piece over the same surface will be constant. That is the idea. It is not that d vector will be constant everywhere. It is like on the considering surface, d vector will be constant if you calculate d vector at any point on this surface. This is the assumption which we are going to make. So let me start evaluating d vector through each surface. So first I will consider the front surface. So this is the front surface. So the value of d dot ds over the front surface can be evaluated as d front, okay, that is flux density coming out or diverging out through the front surface. I will notate it as df vector, and the area, the front area, I will notate it as ds. Okay, ds f vector. This front area, this entire front area through which my d is diverging. Okay, so df is diverging through this and dsf is the area of this. Now this can be further written like, in the sense I can evaluate it like, so df vector can be written as df, that is its magnitude, into its direction. So you can see here in this surface, d vector will be coming out normal to this surface, that is nothing but along x direction. Okay, clear? That's clear? Because we have already seen that the vector will be always normal to the surface. So this is coming normal to the surface, so it will be towards u or in x direction. So this df vector can be written as magnitude df multiplied by its direction, df x cap. Similarly, how can we write dsf? dsf can be written as surface area of this particular front surface. So this okay, this side into this side, and again the direction is treated normal to the plane, so it will be ax cap again. So I can write this as delta y delta z a x cap. So I can write it because, okay, I'll label it. So this side can be delta y, this side can be delta z, and this can be delta x. Okay, now ax cap dot ax cap will be 1. So I can write this equation further as df delta y delta z. Now I need to evaluate what is df, that is the flux coming out of the front surface. So the evaluation of, that is the integral front, the evaluation of total d over this surface is given by this equation. This is now mathematically written like df delta y delta z. Now if I can evaluate df from this small volume, okay, with the help of geometry, again I can substitute here and find what is my integral front. That is the idea. Hope that is clear. Okay, now how can I find this df? This df should be found, okay, from simple geometry, from the box or from the diagram which we have drawn here, and the explanation so far. As I told you, this point P is going to be at the center of this cuboid, and at the point P, what is the component of df? We assume that at P, d vector is dx naught x cap plus dy naught ay cap plus dz naught az cap. Is it not? We have assumed that. We have written that. That means in x cap direction, what is d at P? D vector at P in x cap direction is dx naught, means the magnitude is dx naught. So the initial value when the flux just started diverging from point P, the value was taken as dx naught. That's very clear, right? So in x direction, the initial value of d vector is dx naught, initial value. So there is no vector quantity there, initial value, single value, that was dx naught. Now I need to find df. Df is where? Df starts from this surface. Now there is this distance from point P to this surface, there is some distance. So here it was dx naught, at point P it is dx naught, on the surface it is df. I'll repeat, at point P when it just started diverging, the value is dx naught. When it reaches on the surface, exactly on the surface, the value is df. So the diverging value, okay, the diverging value from this is this value. Now exactly on the surface it is df. Okay, now at P I have dx naught, but I need to calculate what is df which is on this surface. So there is this distance between point P and this surface. That distance will be delta x by 2 from the symmetry. Is it not? Because the total length is delta x, this is exactly at the center. So from point P on to the surface will be exactly half of this. So this distance will be delta x by 2. Okay. Now dx naught is here. So at point P, I will have dx naught, and when it travels a distance delta x by 2, I will get df. So mathematically, how to calculate that? I can evaluate df as the initial value dx naught plus the change in dx naught when it is traveling from point P to the surface. So it is traveling for a distance delta x by 2. Okay, so I will multiply this distance with rate of change. Then I will get what is df, agree? That is what is my flux on the front surface. So what I am going to do is, I know dx naught at P, I need to calculate df on the surface. So dx naught at P plus the distance multiplied by change of flux when it is traveling from point P to the surface, I will get df. Simple mathematics. Yeah. Now how to write rate of change of flux density? So here flux density is dx. Why? Because x component of d. So and that is changing in which direction? X direction. Okay. So rate of change of flux density can be written as partial differential of dx component along x direction. So I rewrite this equation as mathematically as dx naught plus delta x by 2 multiplied by partial differential of x component of d along x direction. I hope this is very clear. Now I have df with me. Now I can easily substitute this value into this equation. Agree? So df can be easily substituted into this equation, and this equation is nothing but my evaluation of delta front. So let us do that. So my integral front, okay, integral front surface becomes dx naught plus delta x by 2 deba dx by x, this entire thing multiplied by delta y delta z. So I got this by substituting this df here. Okay, by substituting df here, I evaluated now the front surface. Now similarly, I have to evaluate back surface. So first means all the 6 surfaces necessary to evaluate. First I have done front surface. Now similarly, we will try evaluating back surface. Now similarly, I have to consider the back surface. So this surface, back surface. So writing the evaluation equation for the back surface. So this equation I have treated as equation number 1. Okay, so please mark it as equation number 1. So easy for our reference later. Now evaluating the back surface, it is dB vector multiplied by dot producted by dsB vector. So dB vector is nothing but the flux coming out of dB, that is the magnitude of dB and the direction. So what will be the direction here? The flux line coming out of the back surface is exactly opposite to the flux line coming out from the front surface. So from the front surface it was in the direction of x vector. So here it will be in the direction of opposite to x. So here the flux line was coming out in the direction of x axis. So here the flux line will be coming out opposite to x axis. So this direction is negative x axis. So I have to write it as minus x cap. Similarly, when I calculate the surface area also, it is delta y into delta z and normal vector out of this. So minus x cap. So this has to be very careful. You should not make mistake while considering the direction of the flux. So this will be minus x cap, and my surface area at the back side will be magnitude wise same, that is delta y delta z, but normal will be in minus x cap direction. So anyway, minus x cap will be 1. So I get this as dB delta y delta z. So again I have to evaluate here dB. Okay, I have to evaluate dB. So how to evaluate dB? So dB will be equal to the initial flux at point P in x direction plus rate of change of flux density multiplied by the direction. But again, see here, you have to be very careful. Here, since the at P I have considered dx naught just started converging, and the usual direction of dx naught is along x cap. We write it as dx naught x cap. Now I am evaluating it at the back surface. So the dx naught should move in this direction. Okay, means dx naught might have started moving in this direction. So it should be dx naught minus x cap, or I can notate that the initial value at P is minus dx naught, or in other words, the entire calculation on the back side will be negative of entire calculation on the front side. Okay, first thing to be noted. The second thing is, from point P towards the front surface I have taken the distance as delta x by 2. Now I am measuring the distance exactly opposite to that. Initially I measured the distance from point P towards the front surface in x direction. So I have taken it as delta x by 2. Now I am measuring the same distance but in opposite direction. So I take that distance as delta x by 2 negative of delta x by 2. Getting? That is because initially I was measuring this side, now I am measuring just opposite. Okay, so please treat it as a negative distance. So it's like axis. So here you treat it as positive values, and here you treat it as negative values. Same way, from here to front surface positive values, from here to here negative values. Okay, keeping these things in mind, so I can now easily write the equation for dB as something like this. So dB can be written as minus of dx naught. Okay, the minus of entire front process, but here distance measured is minus delta x by 2 also. Okay, so it's negative of the entire front calculation, as well as the distance measured from point P to the back surface is minus delta x by 2, and its rate of change. So this becomes like this. So I get dB as this. Okay, sorry, only dB is almost only this. Now what should I do? I should substitute this dB in this equation. So I get dB as minus dx naught, multiply that negative inside, it becomes plus delta x by 2 deba dx by deba x. Okay, this is obtained by substituting in this dB in this equation. So now I know, okay, dB, I know dB. So my back evaluation, okay, the back surface evaluation now becomes, back surface is equal to minus dx naught plus delta x by 2 deba dx by deba x, that is partial differential of x with partial differential of dx with respect to x, all multiplied by delta y delta z. Now let me notate this as second equation. Now I have the total evaluation of d dot ds on front surface and evaluation of d dot ds on back surface. So if I add this, I will get front plus back. Then I have to evaluate left, right, top, bottom also. So let me finish off first front plus back, right? Okay, so adding this to now, if I add this to now, so front plus back, adding equation number 1 and 2, I get, okay, you can see here my first equation is here. So if I add these two, I get dx naught, I will multiply this delta y delta z inside. Okay, I'll do that first. I think I can reduce one step. Okay, dx naught delta x, okay, delta y delta z plus delta x by 2 delta y delta z deva dx by deva x plus my second equation. Okay, so the plus of minus becomes minus dx naught delta y delta z minus plus delta x by 2 delta y delta z deva dx deva x. Hope this is very clear. I just added the equation number 1 and equation number 2 so that I can evaluate this. Now evaluating this, I found that, see, this dx naught delta yz, these terms cancels because this and this are same, so this minus this is 0, and here I have delta x by 2 and delta x by 2, so it becomes 2 times delta x by 2, right? So writing that 2 times delta x by 2, this becomes deva dx by deva x partial differential delta x delta y delta z. Now what is this delta x delta y delta z? So it's a cuboid. You know that length into breadth into height will be the volume. So if I evaluate d dot ds over front and back and add them, I get it as variation of dx along x axis multiplied by the volume of the cuboid. Is that very clear? Similarly, now see, at this point of time, it is not really necessary to derive or go through these mathematical computational steps again for left, right, top, bottom, because at this point of time, it's very clear that d dot ds evaluation over front surface added with d dot ds evaluation through back surface, that is along x axis, because this is along x axis, will give me variation of x component of d along x axis multiplied by the total volume of the cube. Now if I consider left and right, what it will be? Left and right. So left and right is along y axis, so that will be variation of y component of d along y axis multiplied by the indefinitely small volume, because this small volume delta v indicates it's a small volume, is it not? Now what will be top and bottom? If I evaluate d dot ds over the top, add with d dot ds of the bottom, so top bottom is along z axis. Okay, as you can see in this figure, top bottom is along, how to evaluate top bottom along z axis, right? I have to first evaluate to this surface, then to this surface, so this is along z axis, so that will become deva, that is partial differential of d z component of d with respect to z axis multiplied by volume. So by mathematically computing d dot ds over front and back, I can easily or similarly write the value of d dot ds or evaluation of d dot ds over other surfaces also. So let me write that. So left plus right will be evaluating as I told, partial differential of y component of d with respect to y into volume, and if I evaluate top surface and bottom surface, I'll get deva dz by deva z delta v. So now I have to add all these 6 surfaces together to get my total evaluation of d dot ds. So doing that, total surface d dot ds is addition of all these values. So partial differential with respect to x added with partial differential with respect to y added with partial differential to with respect to z, and here the volume of the cuboid is common, so I write it as a common term. Okay, now I know that this is equal to total charge q. nothing but volume integral rho v dv, right? Okay, now taking this delta v to the other side means I can divide closed integral d dot ds by delta v or q divided by delta v. I will get partial differential of or rate of change of d with respect to x, y and z. So writing that, I write closed integral d dot ds divided by delta v, which is equal to my, or which is same as q by delta v, that is q by volume. This will give me partial differential or rate of change of flux density over the three coordinates. Okay, now see, this partial differential of dx with respect to x, dy with respect to y and dz with respect to z can expand it like this. So this can be written as variation of x along x cap, variation of y along y direction, variation of z along z dotted with my d vector. So d vector can be written in general as dx x cap plus dy ay cap plus dz az cap. So I can expand the right hand side of that equation something like this. Agree? Now here this del bar, that is del bar dx by x cap, partial differential with respect to each axis is notated by divergence. Okay, it is notated by divergence. So this is the equation which help me in calculating the rate of change of flux when it's traveling from point P to the surface and outside the surface. So that particular term is notated by, okay, del. It is known as del operand. So that is nothing but divergence. So I can write this equation as dot product of del, that is divergence, dotted with my d vector. Okay, so right side, the right hand side is very clear. Now coming to the left hand side, this evaluation of d dot ds by delta v or q by delta v can be approximated as my volume charge density rho v, right? Since delta v is very small. When I am talking about delta v, the term itself indicates that v is delta, that is v is infinitely small. So when the volume is very small, q is same as rho v. That is the idea. So when I say that delta v is diminishing, delta v is exactly a point charge, then rho v at that point is same as q. So I will use limit. Okay, so as delta v tends to 0, I can write the LHS of this equation as limit delta v tends to 0, closed integral d dot ds by delta v, or limit delta v tends to 0, q by delta v can be written as volume charge density. I hope that concept is very clear. When the volume is very small, it diminishes almost to 0. It is not 0, but almost it is 0. It looks like a point charge. So at that particular point P, which we have considered at the initial point of derivation, point P inside that big cuboid, now that cuboid has diminished in such a way that the cuboid is just enclosing this point P and total volume is almost equal to that point. So I can say that Q is rho v only when delta v tends to 0. So I get LHS of the above equation as rho v. Now I have RHS as del dot d and LHS as rho v. So I can write this equation better as, okay, these two if I compare, I can write this equation as del dot d equal to rho v. So this is divergence theorem. Okay, this is divergence theorem, and this tells me that the flux per unit volume leaving a vanishingly small volume is exactly equal to volume charge density. Okay, I'll repeat, the flux per unit volume, okay, that is this flux per unit volume leaving in a sense diverging. So diverging del is del operand, d diverging from a small volume is equal to rho v, that is volume charge density there. This equation is further known as Maxwell's first equation, because this equation was basically mathematically derived by Maxwell. So this is also known as Maxwell's first equation in electrostatics. First equation in electrostatics, and this is also known as Gauss law in point form or in differential form. This is also known as, that is psi equal to q can be also represented as del dot d is equal to rho v. That's the idea. So Gauss law is Gauss law in point form. So del dot d equal to rho v gives me the entire idea of divergence considering a point P, applying the Gauss's law, which finally gives me point form of Gauss's law or Maxwell's first equation. Now this same equation, which is in differential form or point form, can be written in integral form. That is because I know that q is closed integral d dot ds, which is same as rho v dv. So now let us see how to write this point form equation, or how can we write this divergence theorem in integral form. So from the initial discussion, when we started this derivation, we already told that closed surface integral d dot ds can be expressed as volume integral rho v dv. And now I know that this rho v is divergence of d. So substituting that is rho v as del dot d, I get this equation as volume integral del dot d dv. As simple as that, del dot d dv. So closed surface integral d dot ds will be equal to volume integral del dot d dv. So this is Gauss's law in integral form. So this particular integral form can be stated like this, can be written in English sentences or it can be stated in English as divergence of flux density, divergence of flux density del dot d from a small volume as volume sinks to 0 is equal to the total flux coming out of the closed surface. Obviously that is same, because initially we have assumed that the diverging fluxes will be equal to the total flux coming out of the surface. So that's what we are getting. So this is in turn q equal to psi. This is the idea of q is equal to psi. This is the idea of del dot d is equal to rho v, and this is the idea of closed integral d dot d is equal to volume integral del dot d dv. Everything tells me the same, but all these equations, this Maxwell's first equation, or Gauss law in point form, or Gauss law in integral form, or q equal to psi, all tells me or helps me mathematically computing electric field intensity around something, flux density of a medium, charge deposit in a medium, that is total charge present inside a medium. All this can be calculated. Like there are many applications where you can apply these equations. Further, this equation is also known as Gauss-Ostrogatsky theorem. Basically this is this particular equation is part of or mathematically computed by two scientists, Gauss and Ostrowski. So this is known as Gauss-Ostrowski theorem, but this is commonly known as Gauss divergence theorem. This is popularly known as Gauss divergence theorem. I hope I was able to convince you mathematical valuation of Gauss divergence theorem or Gauss law in integral form and point form. So here basically I have given you a mathematical validation for the statement of Gauss divergence theorem. I hope the validation or mathematical explanation was clear. Now, to add on, I have done this derivation or this evaluation of del dot D only in Cartesian coordinate system. Okay, because del is given as variation of some quantity in x direction, y direction, z direction. Now, this divergence can happen in cylindrical coordinate system or in spherical coordinate system. So, I leave it as an exercise for you to find what is expression for del dot D in cylindrical coordinate system and in spherical coordinate system. So, thank you for watching.